Let's shift our focus now quickly to the NHL playoffs. Vegas, obviously, no one expected this from Vegas, and everyone is, even throughout the season, everyone has been waiting for the shoe to drop, and okay, this is the team that's supposed to be with it. But now there's quite a distinct possibility Vegas could go on and win the Stanley Cup. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the league, Jim?
It's a bad thing for the other 30 owners.
Yeah.
And we were looking at their general manager and says, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
On the other hand, they did get, $15 million from Vegas getting into the league, so they can thank Vegas for that.
Yeah.
But, I think the greatest strength that Vegas has is resiliency. Mm-hmm. When push comes to shove, they seem to be able to dig in and say, okay, we're not losing again. They lose one game, they don't lose two. They don't lose two, they don't lose three. So they're very resilient, and they do have one really good line.
Yeah.
With Carlson and Smith and Marchessault, and it's probably not as good as line A and Wheeler and Connor, or as good as that Boston line with Marchand and Bergeron, but it's pretty darn good, and they throw the puck around well. So they do have one good offensive line. They do have a good second line with Tuck and stuff like that too, and they've got the guy in the goal.
Yeah. And
the guy in goal I don't think this guy ever have a bad day. He's always got a smile on his face. He always looks like he's having fun, and it looks like he wants to show Pittsburgh that he can win without Crosby and Malkin and all those guys.
Well, he doesn't get the love that he should get.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the big all-time, in recent history, one of the top money goalies. Like, he stepped in last year, cold, coming right off the bench. Pittsburgh doesn't win a cup if he isn't, if he doesn't come off the bench to do it, and he goes to Vegas and he's doing what he's doing there. And I've picked Vegas to lose every series so far. they still, I just love that organization, the way they do things, like on the ice, in the arena, around the arena. They've been in the league for a year, and they do everything better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, all the Canadian teams can harumph all they want and say, oh, we're the tradition of the game, and we don't want to have all these bull. Any fan at Edmonton watching that Vegas game would say, I would love to be in that atmosphere. Yeah. Let's do that here. It's just laziness, and you don't make any money off it. So Canadian teams, specifically Edmonton, don't do it. You could have stuff outside the arena. All these, they have. You walk to that rink, and Matty was there. It's like a festival. There's concerts. There's stuff going all over the place. The team doesn't make any money off it, but it just raises the energy and the excitement around it. And people walking by who wouldn't know hockey from a hole in the ground are like, hey, what's going on here? This is fun. Let's go see a game. You get them inside the building. Wow, this is incredible. And boom, there's your hockey fans.
Yeah.
The Vegas has done just an incredible job right out of the box. I love that organization.
This team was given all the advantages that most expansion teams haven't been given, starting with the way they set up the draft. And expansion teams don't get the best goaltender in the world, and you can make an argument that Fleury is one of the best goaltenders in the world. You don't get 40 goal scorers on your roster. You don't get players like that. But they've also did it the right way when it comes to their coaching staff, and I think how much credit has to be given to their head coach and their coaching staff for getting this group of quote unquote misfits, putting them together and coming up with a championship team.
Well, they certainly hired the right coach, and he was the right coach in Florida too.
Yeah.
Those smarties out there didn't seem to know it, and turfed Gallant. He's kind of in between, a guy coming right out of junior and a guy who's coached a long time. He seems to be able to relate to the younger players and just say, go out and have some fun. And what he's done is he's kept lines together most of the year. And the players like that, and if you play, he's a great believer in, if you play well, you're still going to play. And I'm not just changing the lineup because the guy sat out for a while. I think everybody can play, but you play the game, and if it's over a period of time you don't play well, then I got to take you out. But most of his guys play, and if the players like playing for the coach, it usually translates to winning.
The series with Winnipeg, Rob, how do you see this? Last night's game, Winnipeg was all over them in the third period. It just looks like every mistake Winnipeg makes ends up in their net, and then when they end up chasing the game, that's when they get in trouble. I guess that was the case last night. They made a couple mistakes. It's in the net. How do you see this series playing out?
Well, I'm Winnipeg is a power, and I thought this would be where Vegas really meets its match. But they're doing the same thing to Winnipeg that they do to everybody else. They swarm you. They're relentless on the forecheck. You score on them, and then the next shift they come back with a vengeance. Like Winnipeg, okay, we're back in the game, and then bam, bam, Vegas is on top of them again. They're just a fast team, and I'll give that management credit. When they were putting that thing together, it looks easy now in retrospect, but at the time they had nothing, and they have to, do we want draft picks? Do we want young guys? Do we want old guys? How do we worry about the future? And identifying these players, like a lot of them have become good now. And in hindsight, oh yeah, it's easy to just take, Marchessault and Carlson. These guys weren't good where they were. They're good now. So it was, at the time, it was this blank slate with about 50 balls in the air that they had to juggle to balance the here and now and a couple of years from now, and they just did a masterful job of doing it.
Yeah.